My name is Princess Yayra, and this is my story of being a Christian. Okay, so my relationship with God has been something I would describe as this. Because it goes up and it comes down, and it goes up and comes down. And pretty much all the times when it's down, it's my fault. And whenever it's up, it's to His glory. And it is His doing that there's an up relationship between us. So I'll take it back to when I gained consciousness of myself as a human being, growing up as a child. I've always known that I love God, even though I didn't know Him or anything. I've always been drawn to church. And I was born into a Christian home. My parents are Christians, they believe in God, but they're not charismatic. We attended the Evangelical Presbyterian Church. And so whenever we go to church, I was very excited about going to church. After some time, for some reason, my parents stopped going to church. I found a church in our neighborhood and I started attending, because that one I wouldn't have to enter a car. I'll just walk across the street a few meters away from the house. My mother gave me 500 those days as offering. And I was very excited. Every Sunday, I'll go to the mommy offering, and I go to church and I was participating, church drama and parts. I joined the ushering team and I was about 11 years old, but I wanted to do all that. And I didn't know why. I just felt drawn to do that. And that's how my relationship has been with God for a very long time. And I'll read my Bible stories. I'll watch Superbook. It's like everything that was God, I wanted to be part of it. And I had no motivation at home, say a mom laying hands on you and praying for you, no morning devotion. So I was on my own, but I just wanted to do that. And for some reason, whenever my parents wanted someone to pray for them, it's me they come to, even as a child. Because I was the one who was always monitoring them. When I went to eat, I come and stand by my dad, Daddy, you haven't prayed over your food. Daddy, pray over your food, So they all knew that I was the God person amongst them. And so now, let me take you to when I was a teenager. I had to go and live with my auntie for some time to school because my parents went around. I found another church in the neighborhood. It was even a Catholic church. I didn't care. For me, once there's God there, I'm going there, So I was attending the Catholic church as well. And I must admit that I picked a thing or two from there. Senior high school, I attended a Catholic school. So it was easy for me to continue because I was attending a Catholic church when I was with my auntie. Senior high school, I continued my small. That time I became a bit versatile, and let me say the Holy Spirit was with me, and I didn't even know He was there, because I was like, why don't I read my Bible every morning? And I just started reading. No one told me to read my Bible every morning, but I just wanted to do it. It's like something was telling me. I didn't know what that something was. Today I know it's the Holy Spirit, but at the time, no one would teach me about Holy Spirit because all the churches I was attending weren't charismatic churches, and so you hardly would hear Holy Spirit, So I started reading my Bible every morning and the evening. Then at some point, someone was like, why don't you just read the Psalms out loud before you go to bed? And I'll do that. I'll just read the Psalms to myself, put my hand on my chest and say what the Psalm is telling me to say, all forms of Psalms. I didn't know I had to memorize a Psalm. So I just open my Bible and say, today is Psalm 10. Then I'll read it to myself, read whatever the Psalm was saying to myself, and then go to bed. Then at another point, all this was between JHS and SHS. Another point, something was like, why don't you add praying over your food even when you're done eating? So I'll pray before I eat and I'll pray after eating. And all these things were something telling me. And I was just doing it. I didn't know what it was. Then, doing all that, I was in a boarding house. Then there were SU ladies around. I drew close to them. For me, whoever says I am a Christian, you're my best buddy. I just want to be close to such people. So the SU, we started praying together, blah, blah, blah. Someone was saying, I see this, I hear this. I didn't know what it was, but I was excited to always receive these messages. So I came home one time and I had to go and live with another uncle. And his daughter, my cousin, was going for a retreat at ICGC. And then my auntie said I should take her because I'm the older one. I can, help guide her crossing the road and all that. Went to the retreat and I went to sit outside waiting for them because it was a kids retreat. I didn't think I should be there. I was a teenager. I was like 17 and they were like 9, 10. So I was outside and the Sunday school teacher came and said, why don't you join us? It's nothing, just join us. And so I joined them. Apparently they were being, they had invited a man of God to help them with speaking in tongues. And that day, to the glory of God, on 13th September 2013, I spoke in tongues at a kids retreat at ICGC Acts Temple. And I can never forget that day. I always celebrate that day after that. But even speaking in tongues, I still didn't understand what it meant. But I was so glad that whenever I go to church and I'm speaking in tongues, means I can do some, So I went to my pastor and I was like, oh, me, this thing has come. They say it's tongue speaking, but I don't know what it's about. I was like, oh, I should just continue speaking it as it comes. It's by faith. It's like a baby. When a baby is learning to talk, they meet a lot of, gibberish sounds, but at some point it picks up. And I can tell that now when I'm speaking in tongues, I actually speak. I feel like it's a language I'm speaking to the glory of God. Unlike when I had just received the gift and I was saying, mama. So those are the upsides of me being a Christian, me being held in God's arms and being directed by the Holy Spirit, even when I didn't identify Him. Now, the downsides. I believe that because of how much I've loved God, He has been so good to me. And whenever God blesses me and I do well in class, I'm at the top, my GPA is up, oh my God, I get friends, I get fans. Hey, people like me, boys around me. And in those moments, I forget God. My quiet time. Oh, I'll do it later. Every day I'll tell God, I'll do it later. I never get to do it. At night, they're around me and we're conversing. And me, I like talking. I enjoy talking. I feel like one day they'll pay me to talk because I like talking. And people will come around, we'll talk till 2 and have a 7:50 lecture. So the 2 o'clock, now I'm waking up like 6 something to wrap and go for lectures. What time will I have my quiet time? Moreover, prior to that, me and God were like this. I'm always talking to Him about everything. So I was distracted. And whenever these distractions come, whenever God blesses me and places me in a good position or in a good place, I fall down. Then before I realized, no, someone will go and say something about me, some Alu Tabi will come up and then it was like scattered and my name will start being mentioned for the wrong reasons. Then I go back and say, oh God, I'm sorry. I didn't try. I didn't do well. Take me back. Then it's like I have to start afresh. And I'll start afresh and go on and hit a very good part with God where me and God are there. Me and God did so. Before I realized, no, another distraction will come. In the university, the distraction was boyfriend. Hey, I got boyfriend. It wasn't easy at all. I thought that me, tomorrow, I'm a hit. Hey, I was like, what is God? What is prayer meeting? Don't try. I was really into this whole boyfriend-girlfriend thing. And sometimes I feel like God is punishing me because after that relationship, I'm not going to say any good relationship. I've been gnashing. It's not easy at all. Because God is showing me that, you know what? Girl, I'm your beloved first before anybody else. So I'm still here. But I am at a very comfortable space, knowing very well that the Lord wants me to give Him all of my attention first before I hand it over to anyone else. So those are the downsides of my relationship with God. That's why I say my relationship is like this. So whenever I'm like that with Him, I do well, I get money, I get favors, I do well in school, I get favor instead of my parents. But whenever I just decide to put Him on one side, then I go down, I lose everything. Like Lucifer has fallen. That's the state I get to. So right now, to God's glory, I've had so many experiences that has made me realize that I cannot do without God. It's like God made me for Him. So I've made that conscious decision that I'll be His girl and He'll be my God, my man, my father, my everything. And that's how it is for me now. Reading my Bible, listening to sermons, listening to gospel music. And I put in conscious efforts because it's easy to listen to music that doesn't exactly give Him glory, but when you listen to gospel music, it just feeds your soul and it enables you to draw closer to God. And so now, by God's grace, God is also helping me, putting so many people in my life that are also hungry for Him. So I find myself talking about God with, other Christian people, and all these sharpen my faith. And I'm thankful to God for what He has done for me. I have so many testimonies about God's goodness, and sometimes whenever I go off, God has His way of bringing me back. Just cause some tragedy to happen, then I realize that, girl, anything you are, it's not because we are something or anything, it's because of God. So, for example, one I'll never forget was in 2012 when my mom took ill. It was a near-death experience. It was so bad. She looked like she was dead. She was walking, but then you see her and she looks nothing like herself, And at that moment, every single day, I used to pray. Every single day, I used to pray. And I saw the Lord rejuvenate my mom, heal her, and to His glory, she's still alive and well and with us. And that's just one of the testimonies. Another testimony is when I was to enter the university and I couldn't get admission for some reason. The Lord just showed up and I was admitted. And now after I was admitted, it became a money matter. And the Lord said, don't worry, I'll do you wonders. That academic year, my fees was paid, full academic year. My hostel fees was paid. My going and coming was jet. And I can only tell that He's not called Jehovah Jireh for nothing. He really is our provider. And so I want to say that if you are someone who is going through something where you find yourself drawn back from God, I'm among you. Like, I know how it feels like, but just keep coming back. Just keep coming back. He'll keep pulling you back. He'll keep pulling you back until you are stuck on Him, like I am right now. Not that I don't backslide. Not that I don't wake up at times when I don't want to pray, but He keeps calling me back. He keeps calling me back. He keeps saying, come back home, come back home. So whenever I don't feel like it, I know what to do for us to reunite. So this is my story. And I hope that from today onwards or in subsequent days, my relationship with God will no longer be up, down, but it will be all the way up until He returns or calls me home. Thank you.